Welcome to episode 2 of my podcast series about the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting and how it impacted American history. In this episode, I will be discussing how the shooter Adam Lanza had access to firearms and Connecticut's state and federal gun laws and their impact on this tragedy. The first topic I will cover is how Adam Lanza had access to firearms and his prior experience with them. Adam Lanza had access to the guns he used in the shooting through his mother, who was described as a gun enthusiast who owned at least a dozen firearms. All of the weapons owned by his mother were purchased legally. She often took her two sons to a local shooting range where they learned to shoot. Adam's father has stated that he does not believe Nancy, Adam's mother, feared him. She had never confided in anybody about being afraid, and she slept with her door unlocked. Since Adam was 20 years old, he could purchase long guns in Connecticut, but not handguns. Therefore, he stole them from his mother to use in the shooting. Just days before the shooting, he attempted to purchase a single long gun rifle from a local gun store, but was denied because he refused to wait the mandatory 14-day background check required by Connecticut state law at the time, so he did not have a permit. Next, I will be discussing Connecticut state and federal gun laws at the time. Before the shooting, Connecticut state gun laws already were some of the strictest in America, yet Adam was still able to attain firearms. Some of these laws are as follows. A permit to purchase, which requires a comprehensive background check. Lawful magazines were limited to hold 10 or fewer rounds. Red flag law. Law enforcement had the power to remove firearms from people posing a threat to themselves or others. There was an assault weapon ban on over 100 types of firearms, including some semi-automatic rifles. A permit to carry a concealed firearm in public requires individuals to be over 21 and pass a background check. Some federal gun laws at the time were as follows. The Gun Control Act of 1968 banned people with felonies on minors or people with serious mental health issues to buy guns. It also required manufacturers to add serial numbers on guns. Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act requires background checks for buyers purchasing firearms. Gun-Free School Zones Act banned unauthorized individuals from possessing a firearm in a school zone. Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act shielded gun manufacturers and dealers from liability when crimes were committed using their products. There was also a private seller loophole. Federal law did not require background checks for firearms sold by private, non-licensed sellers, such as gun shows or online. Although it seems like there were mostly strict gun laws in place, especially in Connecticut at the time of the shooting, many activists brought into question how this tragedy occurred and why this individual was allowed to be in the presence of firearms. Since the weapons were purchased and owned legally, it makes the case very complex. This incident changed the public attitude toward gun laws in America drastically. Not only were people upset about the actual laws, which seemed to have failed, but emotionally they felt damaged. For many Americans, especially parents of young children and those in Connecticut, it was the first time they had been impacted emotionally by gun violence. Parents questioned if their children would be safe at school, and children feared for their safety. Being the deadliest elementary school shooting in American history, it is a tragedy that nobody can ignore. Many people called for change so that nothing like this would ever happen again. Gun laws had remained a hot button and divisive topic between those who are pro-gun, people in the middle, and people who want a full ban. Since this tragedy, there have been many movements and organizations that stem from it. One of these is called Everytown for Gun Safety. In my next episode, I will explain this organization and discuss how laws have changed since then, along with other related topics. I hope you enjoyed learning from this podcast episode. Thank you for listening.